Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our KW Malaysia Regional Trainings Winning Mondays. And today I just want to touch a little bit that just to remind everyone, we are in that Christmas season. One thing about Malaysia, we celebrate a lot of celebration and a lot of festivities, and Christmas is always, personally for me, an exciting time, a time of the time that I look forward for the end of the year. Now, share in the chat box. When you think about Christmas, what do you think about? Put in the chat box there right now. When you think about Christmas as a celebration, what do you think about? Put in the chat box there right now. What does Christmas means to you, or what do you understand, or what are some of the things that you think about when it comes to Christmas? Right. What do you all do, or what do you all think about? No, anyone, put in the chat box, please. What does Christmas mean? Presents. Right, Francis, I will send you my address later. Christmas story. All right. What else? Right, family, friends, and food. Turkey. Okay, what else? Christmas trees. Yeah, absolutely. Christmas decorations all around. I was at KLCC over the weekend, and if you go to KLCC right now, at the entrance of the lake from KLCC into the lake, they have a huge Christmas tree, a huge one. I think, I don't know, 40, 50 feet Christmas tree, very big one. Okay, go and experience that. Celebration. What else? Family get together, awesome. What else? Right, what else? What are some of the stuff that you think about during Christmas? I didn't bump into me. Yeah, I was there in KLCC over the weekend. Yes. Right. So I just want to remind everyone, this is the season of turkey and stuffing and gifting and spending time and being with your family, friends, celebrating and really having a time of togetherness in this season. I want to talk this morning about something that I think sometimes we don't talk enough a lot about. And I want to bring this word culture into this conversation this morning. Culture. Now, when you hear the word culture, what does it mean to you guys? Or let me just rephrase my question. When we think about culture in our organization, in our company, what do you feel, and what are the things that comes to your mind at first? Culture in our company, culture the way we run our business, what does it mean to you guys? Please put in the chat box. What are some of the stuff that comes to your mind when we talk about culture, especially in our work? Being able to adapt, embrace the differences in front of you. Okay, awesome. What else? What are the culture things or things about culture that comes to your mind first when it comes to being in an organization or being in your professional work? Trust, absolutely awesome. What else? What is a strong support system? Awesome. What else? The norm practices, right? What else? What comes to your mind about culture? Anyone else? Come on, guys. There are 50, 60 of you here today. Let's hear some more thoughts about culture. I'm going to quickly share my screen while waiting for that to happen. Can you all see my screen? Right. Is this?
Yes.
Is this the right screen? Okay.
Correct.
Right. Let me see what people are writing. The way we behave, helping each other, the way we behave. Yeah. So I want to, for some of us who are new, someone who maybe you are a guest today, the way we think about culture in our organization, I think Meiko has a very good description, the way we behave, right? And how do we then illustrate or communicate how we attempt to behave is by our Y4C2TS. This is our Y4C2, this is where our 10 concept or 10 precepts of what we think culture should be. How do we run business from a win-win perspective? How do we talk about integrity? Customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork together, everyone achieve more, trust, start with honesty, equity, opportunities for all success, result through people. But today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about equity, opportunities for all. Now, this may sound a little bit sensitive. It may sound a little bit uneasy for some of us, but just bear with me for a while. And I want to talk about equity and what does it mean and why this was very important. This, by the way, this particular concept or precept was just added on this year due to what was happening around the world during this crisis. And what what the thing was that there was a huge situation in the US during the crisis where, for many years they were struggling with equity, how we treat different people, different belief system or different ethnicity or different background. Sometimes treatment was given in a very different way. So this was where I think the organization realized that something that we need to start thinking and talking about and putting this into our precepts of our belief system, which was voted in the international IALC, that was then adopted, and now it's official that we have this in the way we talk about culture in our business, right? But let me give you an understanding what it means based on what I understand myself, right? Hang on, there you go. So in order for you to understand equity, you must first understand that diversity exists, that a lot of us are different because of our background, because of the place we are in, because of the families that we are brought up, because of the opportunities that we had that some didn't have, because of situations in our lives that are different from everyone, right? I'll just give you an example of diversity. Diversity is through culture. Some of us don't celebrate Christmas, some of us do. But we then agree that we should have fun together during this time. That's diversity, right? We celebrate different things. Some of us are very fortunate. Some of us are less fortunate. Some of us are able. Some of us are somehow disabled. So there is this space for diversity in the society and the people that's around us, right? Then comes equity. Equity is understanding that diversity exists and we must somehow find a way to bring everyone together in our society to make things work. And then that brings us to something called inclusion, right? Efforts to create environments to respect and value all people. Now, not all people are going to be the same, but all people should be respected, should be having an environment where we value everyone despite of the diversity that they're in, despite of the differences that they're in. Someone's face on, someone please help me mute it. Right. So that's where diversity, equity, inclusion, you need to understand this concept first. Now, there's a difference between equality and equity. This is a very famous concept. Equality means everything is same. Everything must be 100% the same, everyone same, but it only can work if everybody came from the same place. So for example, you cannot say a person with disability and a person with ability have to be equal. You can't do that because the guy with disability is unequal. So you go to a parking lot, a shopping mall parking today, there are designated space for disabled people. It is not equal. So you cannot park in those spaces, right? Because why? Those services or those opportunities is available for them because of they are not coming from the same place. Does that make sense? So we need to understand the difference between equality and equity. And equity means how can we then put everybody in the same assurance that everyone has equal opportunity, yet coming from different backgrounds or different situations, right? So we be clear what is equality and what's equity. And I think equity comes first. I think equity has to come first before we can talk about equality. And I think in our business, I'm going to stop sharing screen right now. In our business, what's the opportunity for us to practice good equity practices or good way of showing up in our culture? I'll give you an example. The common things that I see and personally I experience. Oh, yeah, you are a younger agent, you don't know enough, so I don't want to do business with you. Or you are that one that always no, I remember one time I went to drive out, took a listing from a very expensive home, and I didn't have I was still new and still trying my best to run my business, right? Well, my first year, I think first 1.5 years of my business, I had a dent in my car and I didn't have the money to fix it. Yeah, I was waiting for the next 2-3 commission checks to come in to fix it. So I remember driving up to the house of the client and I wanted to get the listing, and the client asked me this question: hey, your car, you don't even have money to fix your car, how can you sell my house? Those are the things that you will go through, you will understand, that you will go through, right? How we treat our clients. We have clients that, oh, I don't serve certain clients. I don't serve certain clients of certain ethnicity or certain background, right? These are the opportunities for us to see how can we bridge the gap of equity. Oh, I don't serve clients where they are of this ethnicity or this belief system. Now, it's difficult for us to have this conversation, but I think it's necessary because sometimes we are not aware, we don't realize. Now, it's okay not to serve clients that you don't like because they have done something bad to you or they don't behave in a way that respect you and you are okay to say no to them. But what potentially may not be okay when you put on a lens of discriminating certain people because of certain background. And that's where we have to ask ourselves this question. Do we give opportunity that is equal? Do we put effort to help someone who is disabled compared to a person that is able? Do we help someone to have the right to own a home, but they are not given the equal opportunity of access to understand how to own a home? So you need to understand in the area of home ownership and property ownership, there is a huge disparity everywhere in the world between those people who want to and they can't have access to understanding and education and service because of their background and their ethnicity or background or the social inequality that they have or social inequity that they have. You need to understand that. And the way we show up as professional real estate people today is that we have an opportunity to serve those people without having the lens of discriminating them, right? And I wanted to share this morning's story today. I was as usual, I was browsing my Facebook one day, I think a few weeks ago, and I saw this story of how one of our agents was helping this family and this couple, and I thought that was a very good story to share how we can make a difference in a society where social injustice, social inequality exists, right? So today I invited our guest from Marcus and one, I believe is Janice. Yep. Janice, are you there? Right. Can someone please post Janice on the screen? Hello. Janice, thank you very much. You always look very well dressed. When I look at you, I'm a little bit underdressed. It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to be equal, and don't worry. Right. So, but Janice, kindly introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been in real estate business.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Janice. This is actually my 4th year. So I joined real estate in 2018. Then after that, I took a break. Slow down a bit in one of the years. So in total, maybe about 3 years on the field. I would say that, yeah.
3 years plus on the field. And in this year in 2021, how has your production and your business been so far?
Okay, so far I've managed to close since January 22 million, but I only managed to convert 37% at the moment. So some didn't manage to convert, some changed their mind, some still in the process of getting the loan to convert lah. So for now, 37%, yeah.
37% of 22 million is converted. So you've still got some in the pipeline.
Yes.
Roughly, how much do you think you will finish by this year? Roughly, based on your calculation, your understanding.
Because still got less than a month, so I'm still working on some of their loan application lah. So still following up. Yeah, hopefully make it 40%. So still in process. Yeah.
So just to give everyone a perspective, her production, her potential is about 22 million worth of bookings done. Means she has secured that kind of opportunities and all pending the loans and all that, right? So that's the number, and I bring that up just to give everyone a perspective of where Janice is in terms of a business now. But the most exciting thing that I want you to talk about and share about is your experience recently on how you help a family or 2 families, I think, or 2 people. I'm not sure is it 2% or 2 families. You can clarify that later. That have some sort of disability, and they are able to secure their first purchase in home. Can you just tell us the story a little bit?
Okay. So last month itself, I received this leads from a client itself. So basically, the moment when this client came, after I secured the appointment, so before even I meet them, right, I already have a lot of obstacles with this client, and I find it very weird. Like, why never pick up my call one, but very actively reply my message. So like, it's just through and flow. Then after that, I find it very weird already. Then the moment when they arrive at the sales gallery, the first client, then I realized that they are deaf and mute. So they're deaf and mute. So I was a bit shocked, like I didn't expect that. And then I was thinking, oh, no wonder never pick up my call. So at that point of time, I already have a lot of challenges and obstacles, because all my sales process, all my flow, and what I plan to do and everything else is all thrown out of the window, because I can't do the normal way already. Then immediately I get my thoughts come together. Then I sit them down, and then I introduce myself, and I try to understand what they want, what I can offer, what is this all about lah. So the first client itself is actually a deaf couple. So they came to the gallery all by themselves without any translator. So that the experience itself is, what we did was just communicate through writing. Because when they arrived, like straight away say, I was like, then I also like panic for a while. Like then I said, like, instead of like straight away bring them around, because I don't know what they want, where are they from, or anything else. So I can't even communicate along the way. So I can't even build rapport with them. I can't even hear them. And as a salesperson, it's very important to, body language. I mean, not just body, but intonation and everything else. I can't even like, hey, where are you coming from? Like, I can't even ask on the spot. I have to write. So I sit them down. So I introduce myself. Then the first appointment itself, I think, took about 3 hours, because I don't know a single sign, and everything was just written on my notebook. So I finished my whole notebook just writing through and flow. Like, they ask one question, I reply one question, then like it's just like that lah. So that's on the first deaf couple that I met up with. Then coincidentally, within the same week, after a few days, in another property that I also marketing right now with my team, when they arrive, they are also deaf. I'm like, wow. They're like two deaf clients within the same week lah. So yeah, but that was a better experience, because their son can communicate. So the son is, their son actually is our translator lah. So that's on the family side. Yeah.
Right.
So what I learned, I think, yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I learned from these two experiences, I really felt that sales really transcends verbal communication now, because I think through body language, and then through communication through different channels, different mode of communication, I still get to understand what they want, what they are looking for, and yeah, to help them during the first appointment. Yeah.
Right. When you meet them for the first time, and after finishing the appointment, I'm assuming it's probably one of the more tiring appointments.
Yeah.
I'm assuming very tiring and mind-boggling, and how, and inside, as you think about them, were there times you say, hey, are they serious, not serious? Do you have that thinking, or hey, sure or not, can or not? Do you have that thoughts about the capacity of the client being able to proceed if they are interested in the property? Does the thought came to your mind?
Okay, to be honest, when they arrived, right, of course, I also felt shocked, and it's like, suddenly I don't know what to respond. But on the other hand, I felt very privileged, and I felt very excited in my heart to really serve them. And the fact that they came all the way on their own, despite mute and deaf, right, I really, really respect them and salute them lah. And then what I did was to really understand where they're coming from, what they're looking for, because I really felt that, the fact that they can come all the way by themselves and to look for a home, I'm sure there's something in store for them, whether is this the right home or not lah. Yeah. So yeah, I felt really, really privileged to serve them. Yeah. Even if this is not the right one, I also hope I can help them to understand a little bit better. Is this their first home? Is this not their first home? Or how can I help them to secure their loan? How are they going to apply loan? So I also want to understand. So I really seek first to understand where they are coming from. where they
Right.
are, then I can fill in the gap. So that was on my mind the moment when they arrived, apart from all the shocking expression. But of course, because I'm wearing mask, so nobody can see my like, oh, like that kind of expression.
Right, which is normal because we're all human beings. We didn't expect that to happen. And how did it happen? I mean, after the first appointment, what happened? Did you follow through? Did they buy? What happened? Can you share with us what was the outcome of the whole thing?
All right. Before the first couple arrived, I mean, before the first couple came, and then the same week itself, also there's another deaf family, 2 different property altogether, and my church actually has a deaf community. So my church organized sign language class, online classes. I already felt like I'm quite interested, but I just can't. I'm not sure whether should I take time to like join or not. And it doesn't happen every month, like maybe once a year or maybe twice a year. So after the first couple arrived, then within the same month, within the same week, another deaf client arrived. That I was thinking, oh God, maybe it's your sign lah. So okay lah, let's just sign up for the sign language class. And I truly enjoy the sign language class. And after my class already, right, I able to sign a bit, and they make a second appointment with me, both clients, the couple and also the family. So during our second appointment, it was I'm able to build a little bit. I'm able to build rapport with them, sign a bit. So at a point of time, I felt that they felt that I'm trying to embrace their culture. Because before I attend the sign language class, right, I totally clueless how they communicate. Wow, really just like sign can really communicate, but it is like just like how we go to different country, when we embrace their culture, when we speak a bit of their language, or they accept our culture, that kind of embrace, that kind of acceptance, then I felt that they feel that I'm putting myself in their shoe. So the second appointment was really pleasant. Like I even said, "Well, new friends. This is what we call. I mean, this is friend." So it's like they also felt like connected with me lah. They also teach me some sign language. So after the second appointment, thank God they decided to book, and one of them already signed SPA.
Right. Right. So they both end up booking, and one have signed SPA. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. So was that their first home that they bought?
It's not their first home.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not their first home. After understanding their situation.
Do you know why they bought that home? Do you know why?
It's for their own stay, and one is for their one family is for retirement, one is to upgrade to a bigger home.
Right. So it's all for their own purpose and own use that you are able to help them, right? When you go through this journey, when you are able to help that person sign the whole process, and definitely it's not a short thing, it's probably a tedious and a long process. And after finishing the whole process, and you help them sign off that SPA and all that, right? What were some of your thoughts? How did you feel about the whole process?
To be honest, from this experience, right, for these 2 family itself, I really felt that I'm really impressed and really inspired. And one thing that I learned, right, is they don't look down on themselves. They don't feel inadequate, and they are so confident. They're humble, they are very confident, and they know what they want. And when they arrive knowing that they are deaf and mute, right, I felt that I deserve this. Like, I deserve to own a home. I deserve to buy a house, and I'm working and able to provide, and that really blew my mind. It's like mind-blowing that the fact that sometimes when we apply to ourselves, like as a salesperson, like over the years I've served like different profile of client. They are like dato or doctor or even higher profile. I mean, in the beginning I do feel like a bit inadequate, like especially in my first year, I do feel like a bit like not sure whether I can do this or not. But thankfully, like how my team trained me, and we are so professional in what we do and so detailed, right? Like it helps me to able to add value to my client. I'm good at what I'm doing, and I should feel confident and also adequate that they are good at what they're doing, like they're specialists, they are expert in their area, but I'm expert in the property that I'm marketing to find you the right match of house or home.
Right. Right. So you felt that they taught you a lesson more than you taught them a lesson.
Yes,
The experience
definitely.
taught you a lesson that there are people sometimes with disability, but disability stops in their head. It's not the real disability, right? I mean, the reality is certain disability exists physically, but in their mind, there was no disability at all. The way, that's what I'm understanding from you, and that's something that you learn through this process. Now, earlier part of the conversation, you talk when you first saw them and you realize where they are and what situation they were in, you felt that it was a privilege to serve them. Can you talk a little bit about what do you mean by that?
I felt privileged because I felt that wow, I felt God sent this client to me to serve, and I felt that the fact that they are not normal, I mean, not say not normal, as in like some disabilities, and they arrive with that mindset that I'm looking for a house, and I'm able to serve them is like wow, that's my privilege, that's my opportunity to experience this. And definitely like what you said, I learned so much more, and I'm so blessed to be able to serve these two clients. Yeah. And on a deeper level, one of the culture is communication. Seek first to understand. I truly internalize that, like really try to understand, like embrace them, try to understand what they want. And from that experience itself for these two clients, right, I felt that, sometimes, the essence of it, right, is not just building rapport itself is not just flowery words or say nice things or being fit, but truly show what you care so that you can give the best, provide the best for them. And it really truly transcends verbal communication. We always hear this, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So right. I think the communication part is the key. And I really felt really privileged to experience this. Until when they sign SPA, I even Googled like how to sign congratulations. This is congratulations. Okay. So I was really, they was like, oh, what is that? That's congratulations. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So, yeah.
Right. So it sounds like the privilege comes from that you are able to, despite that lack of understanding of these people, you are able to somehow add some value and make a difference to the people that may not receive enough support sometimes. Do you agree? Some people, they don't receive that kind of same perspective. Many people don't understand physically impaired people. I think William, that's the right word to describe them, physically impaired people. We don't really understand. We don't really comprehend. We don't really stay in their world. And you have the privilege and opportunity to be in their world a little bit in that experience that you went through, right? Were there some challenges personally to you, or even the whole process that you went through, or that you experienced in this journey with these two families? Were there certain challenges that you had to go through, and how did you overcome those challenges, if there were some challenges?
Okay, for the first couple, right, they don't have a translator, so everything is just through written message. I mean, like on the notebook, the first appointment. So I don't deny that in my mind, I do feel a bit like, wow, how are so many things to ask? My hand is tired already. But my hand tired already, like so many questions that I would like to understand what they want. Then they ask, then I answer, then how to take the loan, then this one. Like I do felt sometimes our mindset is very important. There are certain parts of it, like sometimes we'll try to make you feel discouraged. So there are a bit of like sound the voice at the back of my mind, like, wow, so much, like, wow, I'm tired already, like that kind of mindset. But immediately when I have that awareness, right, I quickly like bring myself up again and to really focus on them, focus on they being a human, that someone that was looking for a home, like I have this opportunity to help them to find a home. So right. That's my that encourages me and that motivates me lah. Then of course the other family, that one I'm blessed with their son able to translate. So they translator for both of us. So the second appointment was quite quite smooth and quite easy to communicate lah. And of course, after that, right, everything is through WhatsApp, text. Everything through text is just mind blown lah. Sometimes we can really, close a deal just to text and without a single word uttered. Yeah. So that's how I felt lah.
But I can
so that's
imagine,
the mindset is important. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine if I were if that person were asking you, can you please explain to us how to apply for a loan? And you could write it down on a piece of paper how to apply for a loan.
Yeah.
Like how did you put yourself together and put that effort to I can imagine first you do this, you write down, then you do this, then you do this, and you do this. Correct me around that. That was actually what happened. Like how many papers did you have to write in the whole process of helping this group of people?
I bought a new Muji book, so it's very nice book to take some notes. Then I finished the whole book lah, almost finished lah.
Right.
And thankfully, because I did learn a bit of mind mapping, so I try to simplify for them as well, like the flow, the process, and then of course the second appointment, I already know a few like this is no, this is yes. So they want to come to see the showroom again. They want to know what is provided, what is not provided. Then they point. Then I will just oh yes, no. Then they ask question. Then I answer already, right? Then after that they tell me understand. They understand. So that connects lah. Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned earlier just now that for the first time you begin to understand what it means to seek to understand others. You have that. Can you talk a little bit about that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So when they arrive itself, I totally clueless what they want. If I straight away go with the flow of my sales presentation, right, it just means nothing to them. And they will probably end up frustrated. I also felt frustrated as well. Really it goes nowhere because I don't know what they want. And because usually our sales process is when they arrive, then we will communicate, share, then after that try to understand where they're coming from, what they're looking at, this kind of layout do you like? And sometimes we also hear their intonation, their response. So for this client itself, I really felt that I can't do that normal process anymore. So I try to figure out a way to connect with them. If there's a will, there's a way, and it really goes beyond the barrier itself. And I really sit down with them and I try to understand through their point of view, through their perspective, what they are looking for. Is this the right home for them? And I want the best for them. And I felt that I really try my best to share with them, and I felt that they can feel my care lah, I would say, understand what they really want, what's the best for them, and yeah, so to understand what they want, then I match back what they really want. Can you imagine if let's say they're looking for 3 rooms, but I keep proposing 2 rooms? It's just miscom. Yeah. Sometimes even for people who can communicate as well, we also may have this miscom, maybe in their mind, if I don't ask them, they wouldn't know. I'm referring to normal clients that we have from day to day. Until the end, oh, sorry, this is not what I want. I only want a 2 room, but you keep proposing a 3 rooms. What if the client just kept quiet? You didn't ask. So I think it really taught me a lesson that I need to go deeper to understand, to really put myself in their shoe, what they want. Whether this is the right one for them. Yeah.
That one word I will summarize is, are we connecting to the clients?
Yeah.
Are we connected? And we need to get, and if you're here, those audience who are listening today, 100 over of you today, when you are listening now, you're connected. You're trying to understand what Janice went through. You're trying to imagine. So there's a sense of connection. And that should be the same approach when we go and serve our clients. And that's what basically Janice is talking about. Are we connected? Because if you're not connected, we are disconnected. There's no in between. It's either you're connected, you're disconnected, or the connection is not so great. Then you have to put more effort to go deep to really understand their needs. And you cannot connect if you don't care. It's hard to connect when you don't care. It's hard to connect when you are just wanting to make a sale. That connection is not solid. It's not a strong connection. I think that one lesson that I'm learning from Janice here today is we have to be connected and we have to go deep to understand what they need. so that there's no miscommunication and disconnection because we are not doing certain things that's not adding value to them, and or proposing something that's not adding value to them. I don't know how many of you are learning something today, but connection is critical in the way we do our business. So Janice, coming back to you, after you understand this connection, after you understand, how has this changed the way that you're going to approach future business? Or does it change the way you think about future business?
It definitely changed to become better, to be a better agent to serve my client. Because at the end of the day, we are in a people business, and everyone deserves an opportunity to own a home. And I have the privilege to help them. And also a reminder to myself to become a better agent, to add value to different types of clients, and no matter where they are from or whatever their background is.
Now, in this experience, which is, I think, not many people have the privilege to go through. As I mean, 17 years in this business, I never had a privilege to serve. That's the kind of experience that you have gone through. And I want to ask this question to you. To what extent do you realize that your role or our role as real estate agent in diversity, in equity, inclusion, creating opportunities for all, how does it matter? Do you think that we now can create an impact for this group of people?
Oh, definitely, yes, yeah. Because I felt that everyone has that opportunity, and like what I mentioned earlier, what I learned from them is they don't even look down on themselves, but they felt that they deserve this, and they came confident to look for a home. And also a reminder to myself not to look down at myself as a sales agent if, let's say, I feel inadequate. So
right.
Everyone has that opportunity. Everyone has that opportunity to buy a home, to own a home, to do what they truly can.
And I think these are some of the things that I think in the industry you don't talk a lot about: equity, social justice, social equity, and all that. After this experience, what are some of your suggestions? How can we better, based on what you experienced, how can we better tell this story? How can we better serve this part of the inequality of people who are may not have the same kind of exposure or service that they deserve, right, because of where they are and all that? What are the best things that we can do as an organization or we can do as an agent to better serve them? Any thoughts, any ideas on that?
I would say put on the lens. Don't put on the lens to see them differently. Everyone is equal. I think it starts with ourselves first, and our mindset and our perspective itself. Yeah. I think we need to be intentionally treat everyone equally by first start with ourselves first.
Right.
Yeah. The first is our lens. Yeah.
Right. So the way we think about ourselves is very important, because if we treat ourselves right, then we will treat other people right. If we understand that we are able, then everyone else is able.
Yes.
I think it's coming from ourselves. I like that part. And asking ourselves, actually, who am I? What can I do? What that I deserve all these chances as well. I deserve all this opportunity as well. And when you come from that angle, it's a lot easier for you to extend that part to the rest of the people, especially people who are needing that kind of support. Guys, if you are listening today on this chat box, how many of you are learning something from Janice today? How many of you are feeling that this is a very special message that we don't listen a lot? Please share in the chat box. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of your aha moments? What are some of the questions that you may have for her? Please put in the chat box right now. What are some of the thoughts that you have? What are some of the positive lessons that you are learning from this session this morning? Do we have agents that know sign language? Well, Janice knows a little bit, so we might form a club around her to talk about sign language, because she knows celebration. I learned a few today, right? But what else? What other questions? What other thoughts? And if you are someone that an agent in our organization that knows sign language, please send it out. Please let us know. I know some of our agents speak Japanese, for example, and every time there's a Japanese inquiry, we will refer that person that opportunity. Right? Everybody has a buying plan. What else? What are some of the things that you are learning from this conversation this morning? What are some of the amazing lessons of humility, confidence, and rising up in all adversity? Absolutely, yes. Sometimes when you help someone who's less or someone that is in a different situation that we think sometimes it's about disability, but actually it's not, right? And we realize we learn so much from a person that we thought that have less strength, but actually may have more strength than us because of the challenge that they go through. So that's a very good lesson. Who knows, we need assistance in the future to communicate with clients. Absolutely right. Yeah, maybe we should figure out where can we find support when we need sign language. Who are the people that we talk to, right? Good thoughts. What are some of the lessons that or things that you are learning from this morning session? I think this morning it's a very meaningful conversation that we have here personally, and I thought we want to bring that in. How many of you are putting that learning something this morning? Please put in the chat box. Would you support this monitor workplace for me to see? And never judge people. Absolutely right. Never look down at people based on what you see, the first impression. Never do that. That's a lesson that we have to constantly learn, right? What else? Anyone else? Any thoughts that you saw? Any thoughts that you observed in this conversation this morning? Put in the chat box. Right, while waiting for some thoughts. Janice, after this experience, right, where the culture of how you serve people and how you treat other people, in our Y4C2T side, just now we talk about you talk about see first to understand and all that. What are some of the aspects of our culture that you are building, that you're wanting to embrace in how you serve others and how you help others in the business?
For me itself, right, the first thing is always communication. And
Right.
but of course, back to KW, I mean, back to the company itself, I really felt that there's a really strong culture here in this company. So communication is definitely the key, and I truly believe in teamwork lah. Yeah, and the fact that, you know, John, you yourself are spending time with us on a Monday morning, and you are showing us a role model how to, you know, lead this and help us to change our mindset, and from through that mindset itself will also flow the right communication
Right.
to the rest of our clients and people around us. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And communication sequence is important because how we say what we are doing and how we do what we are saying is a form of communication. Right? Example is a form of communication. Consistency in certain things that we say we do is a form of communication. Thank you for reminding us that part. Now, fast forward to business. Based on your experience this year and all that, what are some of the things that you're planning for 2022? How are you preparing yourself to move into 2022? What are some of your things that you're planning to help you in your business in 2022?
Yeah. So for us itself, I'm with Emerge team. So it's a platform that we do projects. So even right now, we're already preparing for next year already, preparing for a few new launches in the company. So definitely equipping ourselves to really master the projects and master all the details and really train us on our skills and also our knowledge itself. So the team itself actually very good coming together. You know, our tagline like is we build each other to last. So by Emerge, you know, Yan, our platform leader, and my coach, so they are really amazing leaders lah. So really, like even now already training already, and at the same time trying to close whatever we are targeting for this year. So yeah. In fact, I think later we have a training by Yan on this as well.
Right. If there's one thing that you would like to improve tremendously for 2022, personally for yourself, what would that be?
I believe it's always lifelong learning in here, in this industry especially. So I think I would like to also still go deeper in terms of communicating with my client and to be professional in different angle, like in terms of, you know, even the property, the materials of using to renovate the house, even the market sentiment or what are the market news. I think I really want to go deep on that. And that's how the team also trained me to be professional. And like what I mentioned earlier, like if I want to feel confident and adequate in serving different types of clients, right, no matter what background they are, I need to first be a professional. And that's what my team is value adding to me. And I truly appreciate that. Yeah.
Right. So if I summarize that in one sentence, I need to be as competent as I can be.
Yes, definitely.
I need to be the better version of myself last year to this year. I need to be better in all these areas of my gap, which means I need to understand Where are my gaps? What is my lack, right? And I need to go and figure out how to make that lack a better thing for myself. How do I be a better version? I'm hearing that from you. How can I be a better agent? Because if I'm not a better agent, I won't get a better result. The income and the result that we derive from is based on the personal growth that we are in. The business that we are in cannot grow bigger than our personal growth. So if we don't grow ourselves, we don't improve ourselves, our business won't improve. I think that's what Janice is saying. How many of you feel that this was very helpful for you today? If you are feeling that this is a very helpful conversation with Janice, please express your gratitude to her on the chat box right now. Please put those things that you will learn and those expression of gratitude to her, because I think it's a very, very exciting and interesting journey that she's going through. And for her to be very open to share some of this stuff has been very helpful to some of us, right? And while waiting for that, Janice, hang on for a while before the next session, before we end. But I want to share some announcements. Virtual support, can I have the announcements, please? And maybe a lot of people are thinking about after this conversation, right? What's, in your opinion, what's the best way for us to think about getting better in communication? How can we improve? Because communication is always the breakdown of a lot of things. It always causes conflict because of misunderstanding. It always break down understanding of clients, and then we say the wrong things, we do the wrong things because we had a breakdown in communication. What's, in your opinion, what's the best way for us to look at how can we improve our communication?
Yeah, you know, there's a saying, where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Right.
And
right.
if your will is the one to communicate, and that's also a result of it as well. So I think first thing first is to ask yourself, really, do you really want to connect? Do you really want to help this client and eventually able to, you know, close deal and be rewarded in that sense? So I think really have to constantly ask ourselves if we have that strong will or not to help people, to communicate with people, to connect with people. It starts with us, that awareness. Yeah.
Right. And how do I improve that listening and trying to understand client? Because I think that's the most difficult part. Now I have the will, I really want to serve, but I sometimes may struggle with trying to listen, trying to understand them. And rather than going to that mode, I go and start selling mode. You know, I tell first before I listen, right? And a lot of us, including myself, go through that challenge as well. What is the best way for us to shift from the tell first to the listen mode? How do you do it?
I would say I'm really thankful for my team. I mean, the platform that I'm in right now, the accountability and how we come together during meetings, and then we share. Sometimes when we share challenges and we share our like journey with client, like how what happens. Sometimes I may not see it. Maybe the first week, maybe the customer, the conversation, it didn't go well. So my coach able to point me to the right direction. That's why we need a coach, regardless of where you're at. So I think maybe sometimes at that point of time, at that moment, I may not realize it. But when I retell the story again, or retell the situation or the scenario again, then my team able to, you know, chip in, or maybe this and this, or there are certain ways that you can improve. Yeah. So I say that sometimes I don't know what I don't know. So that's why I don't realize it. Yeah. So I think it's okay, but again, keep improving one step at a time to move forward. So that's what I would say to improve on this.
Right. So what I understand is from you is the way you improve is you don't do it alone. You're always part of a community, and you have a team, you have a coach that holds you accountable, and you guys talk about your journey. You have that conversation so that people can then speak to your life and to your business, because, hey, this is something that you are missing out. Or they will ask you a question, hey, did you listen to what she wants? Like, were you there? Did you hear that part? So this requires that sparring partnership, right? That people around you. And sometimes when we journey in this business alone, this is where we don't have that sparring. So thank you for sharing that. I think this business doesn't have to be, you don't have to be alone, man. You don't have to be alone doing this business. There are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of teams that you can be part of. And as long as you just speak to them and explore the opportunity, like just how Janice speak and explore an opportunity to emerge, and that's how she's now learning this in that manner. So thank you, Janice, for sharing about this so much. Thank you for your the way you show as a professional agent, you make us very proud that to be associated that with you, that you are able to serve others despite of challenges like this. So I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your acts of love and service to those families. You are a great role model for us, and we need more of this. Thank you, Janice, for showing the way and paving the way. For the rest of you today, I just want you all to leave this conversation this morning and have the mindset and attitude thinking about the opportunity that you can get to serve someone to own a home. And I like the way Janice said, it's a privilege that you and I today have to be part of a journey to help someone, right, own a home, buy a home, sell a home, which is a big part of their life. So you and I today have that privilege to do that. Do not miss out on that privilege. Do not disregard or do not look down on the privilege that you have. Don't make it just a sales conversation, but make it a privilege to serve others so that you can make an impact and difference in people's life. That's what we're hearing from Janice today. I hope all of us think that way, and your life will be a better life. Your business will be a better business. Thank you, Janice, and thank you, everyone. I wish you all the best. See you all next week. Thank you so much. Take care, Janice. Bye.